नाशनाथया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मायं ददान्ति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुन् श्रीयुतापदकमलम् श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवं च श्रीरूपं साक्षात् सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं स्वावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितं हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपीश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्त। हरे कृष्णा
Hare Krishna,
कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Ashwin, for the wonderful Mangalacharan recital. Hare Krishna, everybody. Thank you for joining in. So we are reading the Srimad Bhagavatam and we are on Canto 1, Chapter 1. And today's text is text 14. But we have been told that before we read the Bhagavatam, we should recite Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya 3 times. Okay, so Shashwin, I would like you to read the text, but let us chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya 3 times. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
Om
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
Okay. And we are also supposed to chant this mantra Narayan Namaskrityam. So does anybody know this?
Yes, I know it, Mataji.
Okay, can you recite it for us, please?
Yes. Excuse me. Na Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narotamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudiraye.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Pramila Mataji, for reciting the mantra. Okay, now we have paid our obeisances. Let us now read text 14. Let us read till Mataji joins us so that once she comes, we can hand over to her. Anybody would like to read the translation and purport?
Can I read, Mataji?
Okay. So Shashwin, you will do the text. We can do the text 3 times, and then I can do it word to word, and then Madhurupa Devidasi Mataji can read the translation and purport. Okay. Shashwin, you can start.
आपनः संश्रुतिं घोरां यन्नमा विवशो गृह्णान् ततः सद्यो विमुच्येत यद् पिबेति स्वयं वयम्.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Arya Govindas Prabhuji, can you read the Sanskrit line by line, and we can repeat after you, so we can also practice our Sanskrit?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Okay, thank you. Apanna samshrutim ghoram
Apanna
Samsruti Goram
yannama vivasho grinam
Yamnama Vivasho Grinan
yannama vivasho gnan
Yannama Vivasho Grinan
tatah sadyo vimuccheta
Tata Sadyo Vimuccheta
yad bibheti swayam bhayam.
Yad Vibheti Swayam Bhayam.
Thank you Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Would anybody else like to chant this mantra, this text? Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji.
I'll try.
Yes.
Apana samrishtim goram
Apana samsritim progoram
yanama vivasho granan
Yannama Vivasho Granan
tataha sadhyo vimuchyeta
Tata Sadhyo Vimuchyeta
yad bibeti swayam bhayam.
Yad Vibheti Swayam Bhayam.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. We want one more volunteer, please, so we can read the Sanskrit, all of us. Divesh Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Kindly read the Sanskrit line by line, so we repeat after you.
This is 1.114, yeah?
1.4, yeah.
Apana samsritim goram
Apana samskritim progoram
yannama vivaso grana
Yannama Vivasho Granan
tata sadho vimuchyeta
Tata Sadho Vimuchyeta
yad bibeti swayam bhayam.
Yad Vibheti Swayam Bhayam.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. I'll do the word-to-word translation. Apana, being entangled. Samsritim, in the hurdle of birth and death.
Samshrutim in
birth and death.
Ghoram, too complicated.
too
Complicated.
Yat,
Yeah.
what?
What?
Nama,
Nama.
the absolute name.
The absolute
Absolute name.
Vashaha,
Vivashaha.
unconsciously.
unconscious.
Consciously.
Granan,
Granan.
chanting.
Chanting.
Tataha,
Tataha
Tataha.
from that.
from that.
Sadhya
Sadhya
at once.
at once.
Vimuchyate
Vimuchyata
gets freedom.
Gets freedom.
Yat
Yet
Yat
that which.
that which.
Bibheti
Vibheti
fears.
Fears.
Swayam
Swayam
personally.
Personally.
Bhayam
Bhayam.
Vayam
fear itself.
Fear
Fear
itself.
itself.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Mataji, can you please read the translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada? Srila Prabhupada ki
Yeah,
jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Translation: living beings who are entangled in the complicated meshes of birth and death can be freed immediately by even unconsciously chanting the holy name of Krishna, which is feared by fear personified. Purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vasudev, or Lord Krishna, the absolute personality of Godhead, is the supreme controller of everything. There is no one in creation who is not afraid of the rage of the Almighty. Great asuras like Ravan, Hiranyakashipu, Kansa, and others who were very powerful living entities were all killed by the personality of Godhead. And the Almighty Vasudev has empowered his name with the powers of his personal self. Everything is related to him, and everything has its identity in him. It is stated herein that the name of Krishna is feared even by fear personified. This indicates that the name of Krishna is non-different from Krishna. Therefore, the name of Krishna is as powerful as Lord Krishna himself. There is no difference at all. Anyone, therefore, can take advantage of the holy names of Lord Krishna even in the midst of greatest dangers. The transcendental name of Krishna, even though uttered unconsciously or by force of circumstances, can help one obtain freedom from the hurdle of birth and death. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much, Mataji. Hare Krishna, we can deliberate on what we've read till Mataji joins us. I'm just going to send her a message that we are waiting for her. Avinash Prabhuji, are you in a position to deliberate on this verse, Prabhuji? Or anybody from what we have read?
I've just joined actually, and yeah, I'm working, so I'll have a look what's in there.
Okay, Prabhuji. Sorry to ambush you like this. I just wanted a minute to message her, that's all. Or Arya Govindas, Prabhuji, any thoughts? I think Mataji is joining.
Yes, Mataji, just 1 minute.
Yeah. Mataji, we can now see you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam, Mataji. Please accept our humble obeisances from everybody in this group who have joined and are about to join. Mataji, we are reading the Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 1, Chapter 1, and today we are on text 14. So Mataji, we have recited the text 3 times and done the word to word and translation and purport. So we would like to hand over to you now.
Wonderful.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So let's get started with our prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srinivata Swagata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanaha Hridayanta Stavati Bhadrani Vidunoti Subrat Sadam Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama bhakti bhavati naishtiki Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilita Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I pay my humble obeisances to all the Vaishnavas on the call here so that I'm able to speak the relevant words of Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. So far, it's a very interesting page that you are reading now. So if there is something like some category, there is 6 questions that are being posed. And these questions, they are very, very relevant questions and answers. And these questions can fulfill the mission of human form of life for the purpose of which we are here for. And then once the mission is served, then we actually become the servant of Sri Lakshmi Pati. So we become the servant. And this is a far superior position. And hence the understanding of the questions and answers to these questions is very, very important for us to understand, because that is when our mission of human life will be fulfilled. So with attention, we must understand what are these questions and what are the answers that are going to be proposed. And we see that the sages have assembled at Naimisharanya. You've been seeing for the last few classes, and you have probably discussed the glories of Naimisharanya, the hub of the universe, very, very important holy place where all the sadhus have gathered and they have started to discuss the subject matter. So the first question that they posed was, what is the ultimate good for all people? What is the absolute good for all the people in this world? Because everything in this world, if you look at it, it is relative. What do you mean by relative? What is relative truth? Something can be good for someone. Another thing, the same thing can be bad for another person. Say, for example, Corona. Corona is good for someone. Who is it good for? The doctors, the pharmacists. Maybe it's good for them. I don't know. I'm just giving you a very mundane example. And it could be bad for others. Those people who are actually suffering, it could be very bad. So everything in this world is kind of relative, but that way. There is nothing in this world which is good for all. So the sages here are asking a very, very pertinent question. What is the most absolute good that is very, very good for all the living beings? It could be the doctor, it could be the patient, it could be somebody else. But what is the essence of these scriptures? Why did the Supreme Lord appear in the womb of Devaki in his various incarnations? So what is the Lord perform in relationship to this material world? Where have these religious principles gone after Krishna's disappearance to this planet? These are some important and pertinent questions that are addressed in the assembly of Naimisharanya. And by Srila Prabhupada's grace, we have the great fortune of hearing these questions and answers, because these are the best questions. So here in this verse that we are reading, the sages are asking questions in between, and once they asked about Krishna's appearance, so they started saying the statement, this material world is very complicated. And as Srila Prabhupada, he translates it as this material world is a complicated mesh of birth and death. This place is a complicated place because each one of us have whatever lifespan we have had. We know how complicated a life experience can be, isn't it? Even the smallest thing these days becomes so complicated. Even if you want to buy a toothpaste, for example, we have like thousands of varieties of toothpaste. The simplest of the simplest thing can get complicated, isn't it? So many varieties, we don't know what to choose, which brand to buy. The simplest thing can get complicated. Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending have become complicated also. So so basically, Srila Prabhupada is explaining in this translation that it is definitely a complicated mesh of birth and death. And then the sages are offering a solution, that is Srimad Bhagavatam. It highlights the problem, but also gives us a solution, isn't it? It's Srila Prabhupada, he says in the purport that we can be freed immediately by even unconsciously chanting the holy names of the Lord. It is important while even unconsciously if we chant the holy names of the Lord, we get benefit, right? So beautifully, Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport, Vasudeva is the supreme, Vasudeva, that is Lord Krishna, is the supreme controller. There is no one creation who's not afraid of the Almighty. So the Supreme Lord is the controller of everything in this world. Not a blade of grass moves without the sanction of the Supreme Lord, right? So all these universes are controlled by Krishna's energy, which is Lord's energy. So what is being mentioned by Srila Prabhupada is that everything is under the control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The biggest of the people in the history, it could be Ravana, it could be Kamsa, it could be Hiranyakashipu. They're all most powerful persons in the world. And maybe in the material world, if you were to take examples, the richest people in the country, be it America, China, Russia, whoever, presidents of the country, they're all afraid of the Almighty because they also can't control the things. That is what is being mentioned by Prabhupada. He says Krishna is the supreme controller. Whether they accept Supreme Personality of Godhead or not, that is a different story. But for them, the death is not spared. Nobody, the death is spared, isn't it? So that way, everybody is in the control of the Supreme Lord. Whether they accept the Supreme Lord or not, maybe they are atheists. That's not our concern here. But we need to understand the point that who's the Supreme Lord? The Supreme Lord is the controller, supreme controller. So even the most controllers of the universe, universal creators are not definitely spared from this complicated mesh of birth and death. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada in the purport mentioned that when Krishna is done to make, he even though he's the Supreme Lord, he has made himself so accessible. It's very difficult. For example, if there is a CEO of a company, you need to talk to so many people to get an appointment to meet with him, right? Even if you meet with him, you could probably talk to him for like 2 minutes or a minute because his time is very precious. But look at Krishna, he's the supreme controller, but he has made himself very, very accessible. He has invested all his powers in this holy name. The holy name is not different from Krishna. The name of Krishna is as powerful as Krishna himself. So this is the easiest solution in this age of Kali, which is chanting of the glories of the holy names of the Lord. And there are no restrictions, isn't it? We can chant it at any place. And that is what Srila Prabhupada mentions in the conclusion of the purport. Anyone can take advantage of this holy name. Even in the midst of great dangers, everyone can take help of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, this superior person, right? Krishna is very powerful and so is his holy name. So this is what we need to understand. So there is no difficulty or no challenge in our lives, which can be, again, what is being mentioned here is that this holy name is so powerful that even Yamatutas are afraid of this holy name. That is the power of the holy name. The Yamatutas, they are not afraid of anyone, right? But the holy name is so powerful that somebody who chants the holy names of the Lord, the Yamatutas don't come near him. And this holy name can counteract all our problems. If we take shelter of this holy name, all the problems can be counteracted. And of course, this verse also describes about unconsciously chanting, because of which the complicated meshes are resolved. What to speak of when a person consciously chants the holy name of the Lord, right? In contrast, if we see unconsciously, if you're able to get so many benefits by chanting the holy names, what benefits would a person get if he consciously chants the holy name of the Lord? Ultimate benefit, that is prema pumarto mahan, the ultimate goal of life. That is what the holy name can give to a person. So I just wanted to talk about an expert from Chaitanya Charitamrita. which is so relevant because we are discussing about the holy names. Who else can we talk about? It is the Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Haridas Thakur, right? This is the best thing when it comes to holy names. We need to take shelter of these great personalities. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than Krishna himself. And Haridas Thakur, he is who we have to, we definitely have to understand so many intricacies into this pastime, which I'm going to talk about. There are so many things that we can learn through this pastime, so which I'll be sharing for us to get an understanding of how potent the holy name is and what all Haridas Thakur did. And so there's also this exchange of conversation that happens between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Haridas Thakur. So we just get into that discussion and see what are some of the questions that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu poses and what are some answers that we get from Haridas Thakur, who's a pure devotee of the Lord. So we have, as I told you, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of God himself. He came to give us this holy name. Because of him only we are able to every day chant and get the mercy of the holy name, right? And he is having a question and answer session with Srila Haridas Thakur, who's another pure devotee. He's also the chanter of the holy names. So there is this beautiful dialogue that happens between Gauranga Mahaprabhu and Srila Haridas Thakur. We will briefly discuss what these question and answers are. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was a little sad in his heart. Then he approached Haridas Thakur and then said, "My dear Haridas, I'm having a great grief." And then Haridas Thakur said, "Why are you saying that? Will you please pose your question to me? In all kindness, I will try to answer." So now the Mahaprabhu, he poses a question. How will the people of the world, especially the Yavanas are there, right? Those people who are absolutely against the Vedic principles, how will they be delivered? How will they be delivered? This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's grief. This is what sadhus think about, right? How to help all the living beings all over this world. And Srila Prabhupada, he prayed in Jalatuta, how can I deliver the people of this world? The same Srila Prabhupada also beautifully says in the purport that those who claim themselves to be the followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu should feel how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is feeling. How can the people of this world be saved? By the holy name, right? That is the potency of the holy name. How can the people be saved? Now Haridas Thakur, he gives a beautiful response to this question. He says, "Oh, don't worry, my Lord, don't worry. Don't worry." He says, those, my dear Lord, the Yavanas are those people, those who do not follow the Vedic texts, right? Vedic texts they don't follow, but they are always chanting haram, haram, haram. That is what they are always chanting. So therefore, even this nama bhas, the semblance of the holy name, because Ram, Haram, Ram, 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 it becomes, right? So the semblance of the holy name can deliver them. That is the power of the holy name. If somebody is chanting haram also, they will be delivered. Even the pure devotees, what do they chant? Hey Ram. So the degraded people, how are they chanting? They are chanting haram, haram. And that way they will be delivered, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So don't worry about it. So this is very, very nice, says Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because this is the compassionate nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Again, he is the knower of everything. In order to glorify Haridas Thakur, he is asking these questions. Haridas Thakur is the chanter of the holy names, and from his mouth, these answers have to come. And he wants, see, the Lord always wants to glorify the devotees, right? Even in the Kurukshetra battle, we just completed Bhagavad Gita. He is glorifying Arjuna. Arjuna, you take the credit. And Arjuna is the hero, isn't it? That is what Lord always likes to portray his devotees and glorify his devotees, right? That is what is happening here also. Just like, a small child, if he's going to touch a fire, or if a young man touches the fire, you are going to anyways get burned. Likewise, if you're chanting the holy names of the Lord, either ways, if you're chanting namabhas or if you're anyways you're going to be delivered. That is what he gives as a response when he asks about what is the situation of the Yavanas. And similarly, like taking paracetamol, whether you know whether it will work or not, once you take paracetamol, it works. Even if you have belief in it or not, doesn't matter. Paracetamol, once you put into your mouth, it is going to work. So whether you're going to chant unknowingly, unconsciously, Haridas Thakur is saying everybody, they are going to be delivered. Now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very happy. He's saying absolutely it is making sense, Haridas Thakur. But then I have another question. What is the other question? He's asking, there are so many non-moving living entities in this world, isn't it? So what about them? How are they going to be delivered? Is there any hope for these people? Is there any possibility of deliverance for these people? There are so many of them. They're just not one or two. If you see plants, the trees, there are many more than human beings, isn't it? So what about those people? I mean, what about those those entities which are non-moving? How are they going to be delivered? And here, Haridas Thakur, he intelligently answers, by your mercy, that also has been arranged, O Lord. Don't worry, that is also already done. The Lord is asking, how is it done? What do you mean? How is it done? So what I meant was, by loudly chanting this Hare Krishna mantra everywhere, the echo is going up. There is that reflection of the sound that is heard, right? That is heard, and the reverberations of the holy name is heard all over. So by that, all the plants and the animals, those who cannot move, they are also going to be delivered. This sounds like a nice preaching idea, isn't it? So you can just preach to 100, 200, 500 living entities which are non-moving. It is very nice if somebody can do that. But again, the preference is for the human beings. We need to make sure we are compassionate to the human beings who have their buddhi, intelligence in them. And then again, because we have Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asking this question, he's so compassionate. First he asked about human beings, and now he's asking about living entities which are not moving. So, this is what is the answer that Haridas Thakur gives. All of them, they can be delivered. Chanting depends on our purity. The pure enough we are, then they can make an impact to a life. It can make an impact. Say, for example, these plants, these animals, they have an evolutionary cycle, isn't it? They can at least get to the human form of life by hearing these holy names, which are reverberating, which are echoing. They can cut short this evolutionary life cycle. Maybe some plants, they have to go into some other species, but they can cut short and get a better form of life, which is the human form, right? There is that possibility. And again, this is what is preaching. So now, so through this Maha Mantra, everybody can be delivered. Which is what Haridas Thakur says. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he says, I do have another question, oh Haridas Thakur. Can you please explain me? So what about if everyone goes to the spiritual world? Because you're seeing this reverberation, this echo and everything, because of this, everybody can go to spiritual world now. So what will happen if everybody goes? And then Haridas Thakur says, no, don't worry. That is not going to happen. I mean, even if it is going to happen, that's definitely not a problem. But the Lord is asking, will this world be empty if nobody is around? That is what is his question. So somebody will be there, says Srila Prabhupada. Somebody or the other will be there. What if every one of us become devotee, right? It's that is not a possibility. Every one of us in this world, they cannot become devotees. I mean, each and every one I'm talking about, because this process is very rare, and that it doesn't happen that way so easily. So now, even if that happens, no problem, he says. More souls are waiting to get into this material world. Srila Prabhupada always gives an example of prison, right? The prison, if somebody say, for example, in India, there is this thing called pardon thing. So on 26th January, or 15th, 26th January or 15th August, which is the Independence Day or the Republic Day, they can pardon those criminals who are behaving really well. So the president releases those prisoners that day. But still, there will be a set of prisoners, there will be a set of people who will be coming, waiting to get into the prison, isn't it? So that way, there is no shortage of manpower or human species to enter into this material world, which is the analogy. So we shouldn't worry about that. And then the Lord, there's obviously this point where Rama, he took all the Ayodhya-vasis back to Ayodhya. And Krishna, when he came, he took all the Vrajavasis. So, we shouldn't be afraid. Even after Krishna taking them or Rama taking them, we have so many people out here in this material world, isn't it? So this is the point. So everyone, they will not go back to Godhead. And even if they go back, there is a set of people who are always waiting to get into this material world. So it will never happen. This is the point that Haridas Thakur mentioned. Of course, the Lord eagerly is waiting for us to come to the spiritual world. We should never underestimate that. He's eagerly waiting for us. It was just a question that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu posed so that he can help clarify the point to all of us and obviously glorify Haridas Thakur in terms of expertise in giving the answers to these questions. So which is the understanding. Now coming back to Haridas Thakur. We all have heard about the story of Haridas Thakur with the prostitute, but I'm going to give you some subtle points here, which can be takeaways from today's class. So we know Haridas Thakur was in Belapur, which is India-Bangladesh border. So there he was there and he made a kutia to himself and planted Tulsi Maharani. It was a very, very simple kutia, not a very, he didn't have any furnitures that we all purchase from Amazon, IKEA, and so on. There's no fancy furnitures and all there. It's just a simple kutia for him to do his chanting. And then we have Tulsi Maharani. He didn't complicate his life at all. If you just look at him, he had this Tulsi Maharani and he had this simple cottage, that is his kutia, where he used to chant and nobody used to disturb him in his place. So how many rounds he used to chant? He chanted minimum 192 rounds. And even if somebody takes it to be around 6 minutes, that's also quite fast. It approximately comes around 17 to 18 hours of chanting every day. This is what he did. And so that is how he was continuously chanting the holy names of the Lord. And he was such a simple person also. He had kept his life very simple. Isn't it? Because otherwise so much time goes on maintenance of those items, isn't it? Whichever items we have as an addition, maybe it is a luxury item, maybe we don't even need it, but we have it and we need to maintain it, isn't it? So much time gets spent in maintaining those items also. So with him, he didn't even have a kitchen, right? He would just go to Brahmanas and Vaishnavas' house, beg for little something, and whatever they gave, he would eat. It would be it rice, be it roti, be it poha, be it anything. He just accepted everything that came to him by the grace of the Lord. That was what he did. And this way, he had a better lifestyle and he worshipped Tulsi Maharani and was able to preach also in between. After chanting of his holy name is complete, he would take a little rest and preach. And Srila Prabhupada, he gives a warning in the purport. He says, we should not try to imitate Haridas Thakur. Srila Prabhupada requests that, we are in this Hare Krishna Hare Krishna movement, and we need to follow Haridas Thakur rigidly, but he clarifies, if we are going to chant, say 192 rounds, we need to understand whether we can chant our rounds, the 16 rounds next day or not. Because this is again, he was a pure devotee of the Lord and he could do it and we cannot imitate it. We just have to follow, but we have to learn from him. We have to imbibe from him the mood of Haridas Thakur, his eagerness to chant the holy names of the Lord, his commitment, his determination. What all can we learn from him? How he kept himself so simple, how he was dependent on the Lord to arrange for food. How he was, because he knows God is the maintainer, isn't it? So we can learn those principles of those teachings from Haridas Thakur. See, if there is a simple life, we would imagine there is no complexity to the simple life, isn't it? We just will think, okay, there should be no problem because this person is leading a simple life. What can be a complexity for him? But still, complexity comes. That is what is the understanding. Someone was not happy in Haridas Thakur chanting the glories of the holy names of the Lord, and he was Ramachandra Khan. Ramachandra Kanji, he was the landlord of Haridas Thakur, and he was not happy about Haridas Thakur chanting the glories of the holy names of the Lord. Why? Because of envy. What is this envy all about? He's getting name and glory and fame. I'm not. He's just chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, eating whatever is available. But still somebody was not happy with him. This is what is complexity of life all about. We think we can remain very much, we can, go to a forest and live an aesthetic life. But what happens when you go to the forest? Your mind will be in complete anxiety. You'll be thinking about what all you have left in Bangalore or Kenya, wherever you are, what all you have left, you'll be missing those items. So what's the point of you renouncing and going to the forest? You cannot be happy. So troubles are there everywhere. Even if you think a forest is the best place, nobody is there to disturb me, you are not going to be alone. Your mind is there to kind of torture you with anything whatsoever. So similar way, we see here, Haridas Thakur, he was such a renounced person, but still somebody was not happy with him. This is the understanding, dear devotees. I thought it was very crucial for us to understand this point, that anywhere, as long as you are in this material world, problems can come. It is not going to leave us. That is the understanding. So this Ramachandra Kanji, he was a Vaishnava Dveshi, and he was Pashanda Pradhan, topmost of the atheist, right? He could have just mind his own business. He could say a big landlord. He could have been satisfied with whatever he has. He could have worshipped. He could have been happy the way he was. But instead, he was questioning, why are people worshipping Haridas Thakur? Why are so much people giving attention to Haridas Thakur? Why? Even if you have everything, you're not happy. You are worried about this person. Why is he getting fame and you get boggled up by that, right? This is Kali Yuga mentality. He had a CC cameras installed, meaning let's just catch him red-handed someday. He wanted to start a trend on Twitter or Facebook and portray Haridas Thakur as a cheater. So this was what was going on in his mind. How can I get this person down? He thought, since the sadhu, see, he's a sadhu, I must have a way to trick him. And he just thinks about some prostitute. He thinks about a prostitute who can go and induce him. This is what was going on in his mind. That is going to solve all my problems. So which is why he started to approach the prostitute. So he chooses one young, beautiful lady. He chooses, and he goes to her and says, and asks her if she is willing to actually seduce this sadhu. And Ramachandra Khan is saying, I will just give you 3 days. Okay, I can send a constable with you, meaning, he can accompany you and he'll be there with you. As soon as he sees you with Haridas Thakur, what he can do is he can take a picture, and all set and done. Everything will be set, and then we can just frame up that Haridas Thakur, is with this prostitute, something like that. So his fame can be crushed. That is what is my plan, he says. And she says, no, don't do that. Let me go and enjoy with him the first day, and the next day you can send this guy, whoever that is, when the pact is done. So this way it will be very nice, because first day I want to just enjoy with him. So the first night, what she does was, she was very beautifully dressed. She comes to Haridas Thakur, and very beautifully, Kaviraj Goswami, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he from Chaitanya Chaitamrita, he describes her transformation. What happened to her? by day, what happens, how her bhakti begins, something that Haridas Thakur, our Krishnadas Koiraj Goswami, he explains. So she comes to seduce him, and the first thing she does is she offers obeisances. That is to her credit, isn't it? She offers obeisances to Tulsi Maharani, and she offers obeisances to Haridas Thakur. She started to expose herself and propose to Haridas Thakur, hey, you're a young man, I'm beautiful, I'm a woman, and who will not be attracted seeing the beautiful form of a woman? I'm too eager to be united with you. I'm not able to keep my body and soul together. Again, we should understand, she knew about the concept of body and soul. She at least knows there is some sort of difference between body and soul. She's like an intelligent prostitute. And Haridas Thakur said, oh, no problem. I will accept you without fail. But you know what? I have to finish my regular rounds of chanting. Since I have kept a vow, till that time, what you can do is, you please sit down here, and as soon as I'm done chanting, I will accept you. I will definitely fulfill your desire. So she started to wait. Haridas Thakur is chanting and chanting and chanting. And then soon morning came up, and she realized, she didn't even realize, oh my God, this is morning already. And she gives the room, of course, she has to go to Ramchandra Khan, and she has to give a report. And she told Ramchandra Khanji that this is the first day, it went like this. Then she said, I'll go early the next day. And she goes early the next day. And Haridas Thakur, he says, I'm sorry if I offended you. I could not fulfill your desire yesterday. I'll accept you today, but let me finish. You please sit here. And then she just heard the holy names that Haridas Thakur was chanting. And after offering obeisances, as usual, she sits down there. And she's hearing the holy names. And then Kaviraj Goswami here describes, in between the holy names, she's saying, oh my Lord Hari, oh my Lord Hari. That was the beginning. She wanted to attract the attention of Haridas Thakur. Just to attract him, he's just in between saying, Hari, 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 Hari. Just like, okay, if somebody would be convinced, a devotee man would be convinced if it's a devotee lady, isn't it? Oh, I'm also a devotee girl, okay? So this is the way she wanted to entice him. She was trying her best, okay? So Srila Prabhupada in the purport very beautifully explains how this process is working. So with faith and reverence, this prostitute is associated with the pure devotee of the Lord, like Haridas Thakur. This is very important thing. Whoever gets association of a pure devotee of the Lord, they get treated. Their material disease get treated by chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and the association with the pure Vaishnava. So although the prostitute, she had an ulterior motive, but somehow or the other, she got an elevated association. And occasionally, she satisfied Haridas Thakur by chanting Mahamantra in between, saying Hari Hari, oh Hari, oh my Lord, Hari Hari, Hari Hari. Like that, she's trying to convince this Haridas Thakur by chanting. And she also offered obeisances to Tulsi Maharani and Haridas Thakur. So all this, there some sort of transformation is created, isn't it? So when you do these things, some transformation is created. So this is the second day. Okay, so the material contaminations are cleansed when you have association of the Vaishnavas, when you are chanting the holy names of the Lord, and when you are offering obeisances to Tulsi Maharani and the Vaishnavas. So Haridas Thakur understood, oh, this lady is getting restless, because she was getting, the prostitute was getting restless, very restless, chanting in between Hari, 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 like that. And Haridas Thakur, he could see this, oh, this lady is getting restless and I need to give an explanation. So he explained, I took a vow that I would chant 1 crore names of the Lord in a month. That amounts to 192 rounds per day. And since I had taken this vow, I have to chant my rounds. My rounds are not done. By tomorrow, it will get done. So then we can enjoy. So he gave her the hope again. Tomorrow, something may happen. She goes back and explains Ramachandra Khan ji. Ramachandra Khan ji is hopeful since he himself, the sadhu himself said no, so he will definitely do it. He will definitely accept her. So that is the hope Ramachandra Kanji had. And then we also see this prostitute, she also had this hope that Haridas Thakur is going to accept. And Haridas Thakur said, I'll accept you. So this acceptance means something else to Haridas Thakur, but something else to those two people. That is who? We have this prostitute and Ramachandra Kanji. They are thinking this acceptance to be something else. So the next day she comes very early as usual, and then she offers obeisances to Tulsi Maharani, offers obeisances to Haridas Thakur. And then while sitting, she starts to chant the holy names of the Lord also. So this is day 3 transformation. First, she used to sit simply besides Haridas Thakur, and she used to hear these holy names being sung by, being glorified by Haridas Thakur. The second day in between, she said Hari Hari, Hari Hari, like that. And third day, she also started to chant. So by the association of Haridas Thakur, her heart got completely transformed. Then she revealed her plans. She said, this is why I have come here. This is the reason why I have come here. And please be merciful, Haridas Thakur. Whatever I am saying, you know, please be merciful upon me. This is the intention. I wanted to seduce you, and I wanted to completely make you come under my control so that your reputation, your fame is tarnished. That is the reason I have come here. And this is the intention I have come here for. And Haridas Thakur says, I know why you have come here for. It's not that I didn't know, but I stayed back here. Why? Because I wanted to purify you. I know Ramachandra Khan, he's a foolish person. I don't take any offense of him. I don't feel bad about him. I stayed back for your deliverance. This is the thing. I could have just walked out the first day itself. The prostitute said, please give me some instruction, Haridas Thakur. And then Haridas Thakur, he gives instructions to the prostitute saying, see, whatever wealth you have earned by wrong means, you just go and give it to the Vaishnavas and the Brahmanas. They will use them appropriately. And then what you do, you come back here and chant constantly. Chant constantly the glories of the holy names of the Lord and serve Tulsi Maharani. This is what you need to do. This was the instruction that Haridas Thakur gave to this prostitute. So even to those who are not accustomed to chant continuously, chanting of this so many rounds is very, very difficult. That is why Srila Prabhupada, he mercifully said, okay, chant at least 16 rounds. The idea is that this 16 rounds has to transform to continuous chanting of the glories of the holy names of the Lord at some point in time because of our sadhana. That mood of Trinadapi Sunichena, that mood given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has to come to us for us to be able to chant continuously the names of the Lord. Right? And this is what Srila Prabhupada teaches. The followers of the movement, they chant continuously Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. If they are not able to chant continuously, no problem. I have advised them to chant at least 16 rounds. So Haridas Thakur, what happened to him? He left that place right after giving instruction to this prostitute. The prostitute, she sincerely followed the advice of Haridas Thakur. She immediately gave the money to all the people, all the Vaishnavas and the Brahmanas, so that they could utilize the money in a proper way. Again, how she is able to do this? How can a prostitute be transformed in 3 days and she's able to do it? Her heart is cleansed in the association of a pure devotee of the Lord. That is the power of the Vaishnava and the holy name. Right? This lady, she gave up everything and she said, I'm going to go to that place and I'm going to start chanting continuously the holy names of the Lord, 3 lakh names of the Lord every day. And she started to worship Tulsi Maharani, following the instructions of her spiritual master. And then whatever comes on the way in terms of food, she would just eat that. Sometimes she even fasted, it seems. She even fasted, and if somebody didn't come and give her food, she was able to control her senses. Of course, Srila Prabhupada here clarifies that devotees of the Lord are not interested in going and seeing a prostitute, but this prostitute has become a great Vaishnavi now. Many devotees come to see her. That is how elevated she has become. So hence there should not be any distinction to say, oh, he's a European Vaishnava, he's an American Vaishnava, he's this Vaishnava, that Vaishnava. A Vaishnava should be given respect in all means. We should not see the background of a Vaishnava, isn't it? So we should not see now this prostitute. We cannot see her as a prostitute anymore. She's an elevated Vaishnavi. Elevated Vaishnavi following sincerely the advice of the spiritual master. That is the mood. So we just offer respects to such elevated personalities so that we can also become like them, sincerely serving our spiritual master. So Ramachandra Khan, what happened to him? He committed a lot of offense to Nityananda Prabhu also. Of course, when you start making Vaishnava aparat, dear devotees, that is the most simple, the most condemned thing one can do in their life. The devotees, nothing can be a fall down. Krishna excuses even if you do some aparat to him, no problem. Seva aparat, no problem. But Nama aparat and especially Vaishnava Ninda, Vaishnava aparat, it is the most dangerous thing. Nobody should do that. Consciously we have to serve the Vaishnavas in the mood of humility and then always take blessings and mercy from them. Somebody chants the names of the Lord, mental respect should be given even to a Kanishta, isn't it? That is what our philosophy says. So we should always give respect to Vaishnavas and never ever criticize them or offend them by any means, because that is the way one can fall down. So this is what is the understanding, dear devotees. I think we learned a lot in terms of understanding this pastime, understanding how Haridas Thakur was sincerely serving Gauranga Mahaprabhu by chanting the holy glories of the holy names of the Lord, how he was compassionate to give this prostitute also. Because of his compassionate nature, he wanted to deliver her, and that is why he waited for her, even though he knew before, okay, she's going to come and this is the intention with which she is coming. He knew it, but then he waited for her so that she could be delivered, which is what Vaishnavas are. The Vaishnavas are compassionate. They want everybody to go back home, back to Godhead, and serve Krishna in their constitutional position. This is what Vaishnavas always hanker for, because we know Dukkalayam Ashashvatam. This material world is Dukkalayam Ashashvatam. Persons like Haridas Thakur can tackle any kind of misery that comes on their way. He was beaten in 32 marketplaces, but he had so much tolerance. And we learned that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, he actually got the whippings, isn't it? Because there was marks that were seen on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's shoulders. So the Lord comes to protect his devotees when you have that kind of faith. This is what is the understanding, dear devotees. I'll just conclude the session. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to all you Vaishnavas for sincerely listening to this class. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I know we are soon going to exhaust our time. Are there any questions or comments before I hand over to Path Prabhuji? Okay, I'll hand over to Path Prabhuji. Prabhuji, kindly close the session.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mataji, for your nice class. Also the power of Vaishnava and also holy name as usual. And also pastime of Haridas Thakur, a great Vaishnava, how he delivered in a so fallen soul. So this is the power of the Harinam. And we all people knows what is the importance of the holy name in this age of a Kali. Like already we discussed, like this Naimisharya, the sages, they are telling, but how can they deliver? Because they are so fallen. They are asking the question, the sixth question, that is also one of them. And we know in Kali Yuga, the holy name is the only way. There are many scriptures, it is written and it is told also in Srimad Bhagavatam, it was told It is written, Kalo dosha nidhi rajanasti eka mahan guna, Krishna and the Krishnasya mukta sangha param praje. So only, although there is so many default in the Kali Yuga, but Asya ka mahan guna is a good fortune for us. What is this? Kirtana and the Krishnasya. Only the name, Kirtan, it means chanting the holy name of the Lord, and you will be delivered. So how we fortunate that one. So it is the blessing of the Kali Yuga. This is the important, and it is telling also, if you unconsciously, like Mataji told in the beginning of her lecture, if you unconsciously, like criticizingly or by unknowingly, we can do that one also getting result. Like we are unknowingly we are taking the medicine, but it will giving result. It's no matter, oh, this person is not know how I am powerful the medicine, but it's medicine is works. If you knows or not knows what is the things. So this is the effect, this is the power of the Harinam. So we are so fortunate that by the Guru Gauranga and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and also our great Acharya Srila Prabhupada, we are getting the great scripture and great guideline and the right track also. We have the right track. So if we follow this one and as usually we are doing this sadhu sangha like this, then we must be delivered. It's not like that, I'm not chanting seriously, like we cannot have Haridas Thakur, we cannot imitate. Also, this is also this same instant also coming in the when there is Ajambila Upakhyan, we can go. But Jamaraj also told, the Dut also convinced, oh Prabhuji, they are not, they are convinced to the Vishnu Dutta. They are not chanting Narayan by you. They are talking about his son. But Krishna told, this is Krishna Dutta, they told by anyway, by criticizingly Helena Meleva, like criticizingly, by unknowingly, intentionally, if somebody is also doing, that is also same powerful. So that is the power of a holy name. Because Krishna and Krishna's name, there is no difference. So we can understand what is the potential, what is the quality of a Krishna. So we are so fortunate that we are so blessed because we are in the Vaishnava line, in the Parampara. This is the main important. And definitely we are on the right track. We will reach the goal. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mataji, once again. Also, thanks all the devotee who assembling here. I request all the devotee, please unmute yourself and chant Hare Krishna mantra for glorification of our grace Radhika Kasturi Mataji. Please join. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Rama Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Vancha kalpa
Kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam
Pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Ki
jai.
jai.
Hare Krishna Radhika Kasturi Mataji ki jai.
Ki jai.
Glories to the Sankirtan. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Path Prabhu, for